Hi, my name is Tosin and welcome to the Immigrant Corner. Come along with me, guys. Welcome to my home. That's my brother. He just came in this morning and he's helping himself to Nigerian food already. So, should we get started? Hello everyone, my name is Tosin. I've been in the UK for, I would say, continuously living almost 14 years now, if I'm not, well, in 2025, 13 years thereabouts. Yes, so I came initially to the UK to live permanently for my master's. I lived here for about a year and a half. So, in my time, I don't know about now, they give you the length of your visa and then they give you some extra time. So about 6 months thereabouts. So I did my master's, and then when I was rounding up my master's, I met someone, which is now my husband. And we started talking. We were not official at the time. We started talking, and I was really keen on going back to Nigeria. I didn't really want to stay here. The buzz moment of immigrating or migrating to the UK wasn't like this at the time. So I was looking forward to going back. But then, when I met someone, I started considering. I was like, let's see how it goes. So I actually went back to Nigeria after my master's in, is it 2012 now? Or 2013 thereabouts. So I went back to Nigeria for, I think, maybe a year. But regardless of that, I had a UK visa, a 5-year UK visa. So I used to come back and forth for my business, which we'll talk about later in the video. But I would say 2 years after that, I got engaged and got married, and then I moved back here again. So continuously, I would say that's that. So I'm originally from Lagos, Nigeria. I was born in Lagos, Nigeria. And I have 2 siblings and my parents, and that's about me really. So who am I first? I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I am a daughter, I'm an entrepreneur, I do MCing on the side, and I do content creation. So that's literally, and I'm also, what would I call it? I serve in my church capacity as well. So I'm a disciple, let me put it that way. Yes, so the journey. Okay, so let's start with entrepreneurship. And then, so after I met my husband, or before I met my husband, I've always been into the beauty industry holistically. I like nice things, not necessarily makeup or, just looking good, in fact, when I was in uni, I remember the hairdressers then, I used to visit them so much, and they used to call me looking good in my business. And I just used to, crack about it at the time. So when I was done with school and I started working, I was working a 9-to-5 job with my dad initially, because I studied accounting in my undergrad in Nigeria at the time. And just before I came for my master's, I was already working with him. And then I started a small business. I started retailing eyelashes at the time, because I really liked eyelashes. So I would buy them in bulk from China. I started selling them, they were doing well. I was very outspoken, so I walk up to makeup artists, I would reach out to them. Then I think, did we have Instagram then? I think yes, but the early phases, but there was no DMs. You have to put everything in the comments, section, and I would shoot my shot. And I had a business called, I think, Eco Makeup. I've always been very indigenous to my roots as a Nigerian. So I started doing that, and I moved for my master's, and I continued doing that, but I now expanded the line. We started doing eyeshadow palettes at the time. It was doing very well. At the time, you see, China wasn't so accessible, like the way it is now that there's AliExpress, then it was just Alibaba. And you had to just know to know. It wasn't as you could just go on Shein or Temu and all these websites to buy things. So I really had a unique selling point at the time, because I was getting good prices. I had the funds to do it, at the time. But then obviously, as the market penetration changed, I noticed that sales were not going as much. So I pivoted the business from retail to wholesale strictly at the time. As I said, the moment, Asia became so accessible, I noticed there was a decline in sales, which led me to my next business venture, which is hair care, which is what I'm doing now. Now, continuing with beauty, I've always loved hair care. Look at, this is my natural hair. And I went on a natural hair journey. When I left uni, I cut my hair completely to like a man's level of haircut. And I used to, go online, go on YouTube, and I noticed that most of the recommendations that the naturalistas at the time, used to recommend. We couldn't find them in Nigeria. The only stores that were selling them were the big malls, and the markups were crazy. As I said, thankful to my parents, I've always had the privilege of, coming to the UK for holidays, going to America. And when I go into Walmart, or even here in the UK, maybe then what stores was common then now, I would say maybe even Boots, Superdrug, you could just walk in and buy those products. So I just thought to myself, there's a gap in Nigeria. I started buying them. I'll take it back home. I started with a hair gel, actually, because the first things naturalistas then used to talk about is how do I slick my hair to ensure that it's neat. And I noticed that the demand for the hair gel, every time I'm traveling, I was buying it in bulk. Every time I know my friend or my dad or someone is traveling, I would give them some money to help me buy, and we're restocking. And then obviously with one product, people say, oh, do you sell? If you're selling hair gel, what shampoo can I use? So that's how I literally got into the hair care industry at the retail aspect. Then also, I wanted to give back in the terms of, it's not just, okay, some people don't even want to do the DIY washing your hair, they just want a salon. And there were very few salons in Nigeria that were offering natural hair care, and they knew what they were doing at the time. So we started with a directory. When I say we, me, I started with a directory, and then I started putting all the salons that I knew, that I had gone to, had vouched for. We had it at the end, we had a directory. We had salons in each state in Nigeria. And then, the directory was a beautiful part of the business. But obviously, as the business evolved, we had to change, and then it's now strictly retail and sale of products, and also events where we have the capacity. So where I am now, I've married, I've moved to the UK. The business is continuing on both, coast of the world, back home in Nigeria, and here is my home now, which has been for the last 10 years or more, also here in Glasgow. As I said, I'm also a mom to a wonderful daughter. She's turning 5 this year. She's my light of my life. And then I started doing MC about 3 years ago as well, just something I started doing. I love to do, free for my friends, but people were willing to pay, and it's also become, a good source of income for me. Content creation, as long as I've been natural, I've been doing content creation. And obviously, as I grew my own lifestyle, family, I started sharing those bits into my content creation journey. So that's where we're at now. I would say launching the business was easy. It came from a need that I was also in need of, and then I was able to solve it at that season of my life. And why hair care products? I mean, I'm a true believer in representing something that you are, I would say maybe you're a model for. You can't tell me, maybe I'm breaking out now, you're telling me you're doing skincare and your own skin isn't flawless. I struggle when people are not a representative of what they retail. To me, it's like a walking contradiction. So obviously hair, as I said, it's just even right from childhood, I've always had a keen interest to just hair. When I see my mom had really long hair, growing up, I just used to be so fascinated about it. So it was a no-brainer. And also, I'd just like to add that that's just one facet of my entrepreneurial life. So maybe tomorrow I'll have a fashion house, you never know. But for that season and this season of my life, hair care products. So running the business in Nigeria was good. And I would say because of the privilege of going back and forth, like coming to the UK, going to Nigeria, I was able to test being away from the business on ground and seeing if the business can function without me being there physically. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with. People that they're relocating to the UK and they have thriving businesses back home, wherever that is, maybe India, Nigeria, they feel they need to pack it up, or they feel like the business cannot thrive. I was able to test it. I was able to see all the things that needed my physical touch, my physical presence, and replace them. And I know a lot of people might be like, oh, maybe they don't have the capacity to get staff. Maybe you need to look into your business model. Every business model should be able to take on somebody on board. If not, you will burn out, right? So I was able to test that. A lot of the the phone call aspects, the one of people calling one-on-one, having a Nigerian, number, chatting with customers, I was able to change my, the profile of my customer. I'm not trying to sell to everybody in Nigeria. I wasn't trying to sell to everybody in Nigeria. I was trying to sell to the tech-savvy websites, not website averse. People don't like to check out online. Those were my target audience. So I noticed that I was having a lot of orders from people that were professionals, university students that were able to take risks, people that were buying things for their children, and they went online to search. So we moved the entire business online to a website that was working great, and we did not really have need for the WhatsApp bits or the phone call bits, because people were able to just check out the same way people were able to check out from Jumia. Also, the cost of getting a website was not like this at the time, because we had platforms like marketplaces like Konga and Jumia, which is the UK equivalent of maybe eBay, Amazon. You did not need to bear the cost of opening a website. So I was able to, get sales from those platforms first. And then when I saw that it was working okay, moving to the UK, as I said, I was able to test and pivot it. I was able to hire one staff and who was doing the physical packing of the order, and then moving to the UK. In fact, which maybe I talk about later, one of my regrets moving to the UK was that I did not start my UK business early enough. I think I used about 2-3 years just to be, I was just running the business, the money was good, the exchange rate was still okay. I wish I just, as soon as I moved here, the first month that I got here, I just, started capturing my UK audience. But hindsight, they say it's 2020. So launching the UK business was no brainer. I think when I was pregnant for my daughter, I just had a wake up call like, Tosin, what are you doing? You can do this business here. Literally in a day, I registered the business. I already know the market. I know what will sell. I know how to get things in wholesale. I knew everything. I knew the vendors. I had good relationships with them. So it was just a matter of raising money. And interestingly, my Nigeria business funded my UK business, to start it afresh about, I think now my daughter is 25, so about 5 years ago. See how time flies. So that's how I've been able to run the UK business. Okay, so because I'm a content creator, a lot of people, I know I also do YouTube as well, and people wonder if influencing has been able to help me with my business. That answer, for me, interestingly, I would say maybe no. And I'll tell you why. Yes and no. Yes and no. Let me be, fair. No, because I run my business anonymously for many years. So many people did not know that I owned Naija Naturals, right? Because I wasn't putting my face on it. I didn't want to be the business owner that needed to dance to sell a product. I didn't want to be the business owner that needed to, hold shampoo bottles and start explaining 100 million times to convince the buyer. I wanted people to buy the product because they've done their own research. They trust our recommendations. Our customer service is speaking for us. Our Google reviews are speaking for us. So for almost 10 years, I would say from starting my business in Nigeria at 2013, I would say maybe I only started putting my face to my business, I would say in the last maybe 4 or 5 years when I wanted to launch the UK business, and I'll give context to why. So I would say I did not leverage on that, but I was also linking products. So I'm very good in YouTube. When I do my YouTube tutorials, then where did I get the shampoo for? I'll put my own website link in the description box below. So I was doing link building. So when you Google us, not only were you seeing the website, you're also seeing someone that is credible using the product. So I wasn't putting my face on, I was running it anonymously. So I would say in that bit, no, influencing did not help. But when I started the UK business, obviously I'd lived here for a while. I had a handful of Nigerian moms, African moms, people that have married Caucasian men that had children with textured hair, 4C hair, and they were struggling, knowing the right product to buy. It's not that the products are not there. It's actually trusting someone's judgment. Thankfully, to the glory of God, I had a daughter. So me using those products on her, they definitely trusted because they could see, that, Tosin uses hairband for her daughter. Her hair is always looking neat. And they were immediately, once I post, they would just check out. So in that bit, it was really, really helpful. We're selling our products, it was really good in the terms of in the UK. Here in Nigeria, I won't say the same because that's not the business model. But in the UK, influencing my own business has really helped because the target market here is people with ethnic hair. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm more relatable to them. So they're able to, it's going to help. Why bring Christianity into content creation? That's who I am. That's the core of me. You know how they say maybe, if you don't want me to bring God in it, don't ask me for advice. That's who I am. Like, the kind of person I am. I'm a believer. I'm a child of God. If you don't see Christianity on my page, I'm doing myself a disservice. And I know there's some people that have branded themselves so well that it's so well in the word. They've branded themselves in such a unique way that you can't even tell if they believe in any faith. I don't want to be that person. The Bible says that let men see your good works so that they can give glory to your Father in heaven. I think you are a contradiction to what you believe in Even when people stumble on your content, and then first 5 minutes of scrolling through it, they can't tell the person you are, they can't tell your belief system, then you're not really a son. You're not really a child of God. A prince is proud to be known, to be affiliated with the king. So for me, it's inevitable. When I talk about the progress that God has given me in business, it's God. When I talk about the grace of being a parent, it's God. The success in my marriage is God. So if I don't put it, then I'm not giving opportunity for people to want to even be born again. I always say things like, it's not until you preach to somebody to say, give your life to Christ. Your excellence, your kindness, your warmth, they can just tell there's a God factor. You know how they say, we are the Bibles that people that don't know God are reading. So it's very important for me to bring, my faith as a believer, as a Christian, as a child of God into every facet of my life. That does not mean I need to put scriptures on my product packaging. You will not even see that. But the excellence of which we do things, packaging our orders, ensuring there's no spillage. On the occasion that problems arise, I solve it amicably. I'm thoughtful about my customer. The mind of Christ is there. There's no how excellence will not come in. It's not necessarily about putting the people that they put scriptures in the beginning of their videos, and when you watch the video, it has nothing to even do with a life that is in Christ. That's not who we're trying to be. There's life, there's ebbs, and there's the ebbs and flows. How is it said? Like, there's some periods that I just do one influencing gig, and that's literally my profits for the week or for even the month on some days. I'm going to lie to you, especially when it's not like I have like 50 branches or I'm running at the scale of a Tesco. I'll be like, oh, obviously that's of course, business pays better. But there are seasons where some gigs just pay more, and that's just the truth. And there are also seasons where it's just dry spell, especially when you're doing maybe, for example, I said I was doing MC. Now in the UK, you get gigs when it's hot. When it's cold, it's like dry spells. Even event decorators will tell you, nobody's trying to have their wedding in January or their birthday when it's rainy and everything. So warmer months, you see that there's a spike. There was a month where I had like almost 4 content creator great gigs. I had an event every month. Let's even say barest minimum, I'm being paid, let me even say £500. You do the math, I was having a gig every weekend. I was having influencer gigs literally like every week. Definitely. Do you know how many bottles of shampoos I'll need to sell to break that number? I would need to be churning out a lot of shampoo bottles for me to have that, profit margin. So I would say it's just seasons and times. That's why, it's very important. The Bible says that you cast your seed on many soils because you don't know which one will give, produce. So that's what we're doing over here. The cliche answer is, people always say balance is a myth. That, there's nothing like balance. Sometimes I disagree. And I disagree, the more I'm thinking about this answer now, I disagree because there is balance. First things first, you marry the right person. First things first, so that you are not bearing the burden of being a parent all by yourself. So in that, like this morning now, I didn't need to take my daughter to the pool. My husband did that. I was able to do my makeup for this program. So that's that. I would say the balance comes, being an entrepreneur is also delegating. I am not trying to be superwoman. I'm not trying to save the world. I'm trying to influence my own world, which starts with my family, then my friends, then my maybe people that follow me, and then maybe my church family, and then different layers and spheres of my life. The problem is, I think a lot of women is that they don't want to drop any ball. I'm happy to leave plates in my sink all night and I'll wash it the next day. That is the balance. The balance is that I don't overextend myself. The balance is that I wake up a bit earlier so that I can dress my daughter for school or for church and also look good myself. That is the balance for me. I think the balance for me is applying wisdom in every area of my life. There are seasons where maybe I feel like, Tosin, maybe you could have been a bit more productive, but that is that season. Is that season that is affording me balance for other, seasons of my life. So I would say the balance, as I said, just recapping it, being with the right person, taking in support, not overtaking too much, delegating in terms of tech. Instead of you manually maybe sending emails to everybody, put people on newsletter. Instead of me worrying about replying WhatsApp, to I hire somebody. I hate to say this, but we know that there are countries where they know that there's cheap labor, Nigeria, the Philippines, You can hire somebody. The money that you would use to maybe do it out that money, you can sacrifice it to hire somebody in another country where it would, because of the economies of scale, you're not underpaying them, you're actually paying them, well as well, because of obviously just economics, So I would say the balance in my life is applying wisdom and getting help. I'll start with the business piece. Family support is so important to me. Charity begins at home. So I struggle when people are great everywhere else and they don't acknowledge people that have helped them in one way or the other. I would say my first business ever, how did I get the capital? It wasn't a lot of money. It was literally like $200. If I look in hindsight then, which now is probably like peanuts now. But at the time, it was about 180,000 naira, I'm not sure, 200K there. But it was about $200 equivalent to get the lashes, and it was from my dad. I literally wrote an email and I explained to him what I wanted to use it for, and he was okay, I'll give you the money. So that's one bit from my parents. Also, the business acumen I would say I have now is that my mom, when I was growing up, she always involved me in counting stock. She had a baby store business, counting stock, following her to the stalls. She wasn't the kind of parent that shielded me from what she did. So even the support that is not necessarily like giving you something, just the support of me seeing those things is there. This is me starting from my parents, my siblings as well. I remember when I started my UK business, my brother in Canada, he asked me what I wanted, and I said I wanted a label maker. And he bought me that printer. It's a Dymo label maker, the big one. And it meant so much to me, to the point that now when I do my birthdays, they always ask me what will make me more productive, because I love perfumes, I love flowers, I love bags, I love fashion, I love all these things. But because they know what is the core of me, they would buy me things like my husband bought me a drone. Things that he knows that this would make me really happy. So I don't want you buying me, for instance, a higher end designer shoe, and then what I need for my business, I can't afford it. So I would say family, they really understand my heart, they understand my core, they're really supportive. Also, besides them giving me things, I remember my other brother that lives here with me in Glasgow, when I had a pop-up shop in John Lewis, he was there with me, selling with me. This is a man that probably has no interest in literally what I do, but he was there with me. When I had the pop-up tour as well at Barclays for Black History Month, he was there with me as well. Family, it means a lot to me. Also, even just the support of me being able to pursue other interests. I said I do MC. I'm a mom. Where would I keep my child? You can't imagine hiring an MC and then she's coming with a child or he's coming with a child. That's not excellent. My husband allows me he drops me off at events. He looks after his child, because our child, doesn't text me, say, come back home. Just that support of knowing that I can pursue my dreams. And then my family, they're rooting for me. They're happy for me to do well. Till tomorrow, I have a business in Nigeria that I have staff, I have CCTV images. My parents, they still do wellness check. They're still going to pop in just to see, if things are going as expected. Same with my friends back home as well. I know you mentioned about family, but there's some friends that are like family, because some people don't have these things that I'm talking about, like the privilege of family. It could be friends. So yeah, and in my personal life, even just the support, knowing that they're praying for me. I remember when I first moved here for my master's. And when I wake up in the morning, obviously I was still growing in my faith then, and I'm still growing now. I had this subconscious that even if I don't pray in the morning, I know that my house in Nigeria, my dad and my mom, because when I was there, they prayed for me we had morning devotion. So just even though the support, knowing that your friends might not even think to pray for you, but your family, they wish you well, they're sending good thoughts to you. If you have a good family, you have one step further in life. So yeah. That's what I would say. Would you say one thing? Would you like me to say just one thing? Everything is big to me. I magnify everything in my life. But let me just say one that I know really, really makes me really, really proud of myself. We've done over 30 countries in deliveries. And it means the world to me. I was saying that if I had to buy like a map and put pins, some of the places that I've delivered products to, if they had told me that people in those countries would need my product, not even black people, white people, Caucasians, Asian descent, I'll be very shocked. I remember the first day I got an order from Japan. I was gobsmacked. I'm like, Japan? And the person bought some hair product. And I probably did a dance. And before the close of that day, another order came in from Japan. In one day, I had 2 orders from Japan. I packaged that order with so much love. I had to send an email to them just to kind of know, on my website, I can see the source, but it was a direct order. Like literally, they went on Google and it was straight from, Google Direct. It wasn't like maybe Instagram or anything. The names were pure Japanese names. The addresses were fully Japanese. In fact, the second order from Japan, it had like, I think maybe a 3-day delay. And the person had reached out to me saying that, they're a Japanese student, they ordered from this website. And I was just in so much awe. I think just, knowing that I am doing something. A lot of the competitors here in the UK, I'll say one of my unique selling points is that they don't deliver internationally, right? So I've seen that, gap, and beyond the United Kingdom, we've done, in fact, I think maybe I'll send a picture of some of the countries that we've done, because I have a thing that I do, like just to, encourage myself as well, showing all the locations. We've done Japan, I've done Russia, I've done Malaysia. One of our frequent places is South Africa. I've done in the UK, in the EU, I've done Germany, I've done Italy, we've done the Netherlands, we've done countries so many countries, I can't even begin to say, over 30 countries. And how many countries are there in the world? So it's very encouraging to see that. And we only started even doing international deliveries, I think, maybe 2 years into the business. And that really, really helps. And let's not even talk about the UK orders, but it's one thing I'm really, really proud of. And I know you only said one, but I'm also proud of my family life. I'm proud of being a mom. It means the world to me, so yes. I'll speak in hindsight. My advice is, first of all, is decide if the UK is for you. I know, trust me, there's a lot of hardship, especially coming from my home country, Nigeria. It seems like the only way out is to relocate. But I literally went to Nigeria this January for a friend's wedding, and I just knew that if I was still in Nigeria, I'll still do well, right? I feel like there's something in the UK that kills ambition. I just know. So I feel like you even have to prayerfully fight out of that, because if not, we'll become the aunties. I remember when I was growing up, that we will come to the UK for holiday and we'll have aunties that had okay houses, and then they'll be telling you, put off the lights. That's the UK. Now I've lived here, and now I empathize with them. I now know why they are like that. That's what the system does. But when you go to Nigeria, you can have a newborn baby and someone will say, here is $1,000 as a gift. And this is a country where there's hardship in Nigeria, and people are still that benevolent. So decide if the UK is for you. Prayerfully decide if this is where God wants you to be. I said I went back to Nigeria after my master's. In as much as a man was in my life, my husband was in my life, I prayed about it. I went on a fast just to be sure that this is God's direction for my life. Because one thing I would not want is to give up my own dreams just because I want to be a wife and a mom. I would literally resent my husband because I'm an ambitious person. So that was that. So I'll say that's the first thing if you're relocating, even for marriage purposes, because not everybody comes through the education or work routes. So that's one. Another advice is don't leave. As soon as you get into the country, do your driver's license. Do your driver's license. If you want to do entrepreneurship, obviously study the environment, use the resources that they give you, and get on it. See, it's better to do it. You fail forward. You do it, you fail. You pick up yourself. At least you've learned. You continue. When I was not a mom, I was doing passenger princess. I mean, I've been driving like a Formula 1 driver in Nigeria. But I came here, I didn't have a child. I mean, I was married for 3 years before I decided to be a mom. And I could have done so many things in that period, but I was just, as I said, enjoying life, doing my things, enjoying my money. But I wish I did things earlier. I wish I just got on it and failed forward. So I would say my advice is don't drop water. I say at least drop cup. No, get on it. Be ambitious about your life. Take responsibility for your life. If you want to go through the career path, because not everyone is going to be an entrepreneur, do it. I would even say, even if you want to be an entrepreneur, I would even say get a job, just so that you can understand the how people relate with one another here, how the system works, taxing, nuances, the words you use to customers, customer inquiries, understanding GDPR, data protection. You see some entrepreneurs that do not know how the system works, and they are showing their customers' data on the order that they are packing. That is illegal. But maybe if you're not, you don't read wide, you're not working in a corporate environment, those things might never, occur to you. So I would say those are the advices that I'll see. And I'll also say is no man is an island. I know that there's this individualistic mindset that we Nigerians have. So I'm going to speak as a Nigerian. Is that you be like, when you come here, you say, I'm going to start going to a white church. I'm just going to, I'm not going to really roll with my black people. I only roll with them for parties. But no, they're trailblazers here. Identify your crowd, people of ethnic minorities, your people that are from your own country, that have the same value systems as you. Find people, they are trailblazers that are of your own color. I'm not saying don't really, trust me, I have lots of white friends and all of that. I would also say just, relate with people. Don't look down on your own. Don't look down on your own people. They can support you, they can encourage you, and it would also help you to be ambitious. There are people that they are doing very well just because of where they settled in when they first came. So I would also say find your crowd. Some of the biggest blessings I've gotten in my life are from the church community, the Black Nigerian church community. Some of the blessings I've also gotten, even for opportunities, are from people that are of my own, culture, even Yoruba people, for instance, that are following me on Instagram, and something comes up in their workplace and they put up my name because they want their own people to do well. So just forget all that thing of, we don't want other people to do well. If I see an opportunity and I think somebody can benefit in it, I definitely, will pay it forward. So that's the advice I would give you. Oh, my dreams are so big, but the ones I can share here. My dream is to have because my industry, many of the businesses are owned by Asians and they don't even have black hair. So for instance, I remember someone had said to me that she thinks I'm the first, black woman in Scotland to do, natural hair care products for black people. And I thought, interesting, I'll look that up. I don't know, but that's what she said. It was someone else there too. So my dream is not just even to break these barriers, is to grow in business so much so that I can give back to my community. I wish, I know that I want to be elevated, and God is going to take me to a place where not only can I mentor people on a large scale, we will give actual support. One of my mentors is Flourish, and she does this thing that she gives women actual capital to start up their business. I think it's a massive fund, and she gives a minimum of 2 to 3 million naira per entrepreneur. So I would say, something like that, actually helping people, because a lot of people have ideas, but the grace to fund it, the money to fund it. I would say that. Also, one of my dreams also is to have my store physically in the best parts of town. Not just in some shoddy alley down way where they sell, African goods. No, in the Selfridges, in the House of Phrases. That's the excellence that I want for my business. And my dreams are very valid, and I know yours are valid as well. So yeah, cheers to, I know this is my imaginary glass cup. This is us clinking. Cheers to, breaking barriers, following our dreams, pursuing our dreams, and also paying it forward when we are on the journey, not just when we get there. So thank you very much. I don't know if I've even been smiling throughout this video because I've been so serious. So, but thank you very much to this TCI pod, your entire team, for having me. Thank you. I hope you, the viewer, you enjoyed this video. I hope everything was insightful. Please leave me comments and don't forget to connect with me and also the TCI pod. Bye guys.